Hi, welcome to Puppetry, Poetry for Truth, episode 22. I'm Matthaeus. Welcome to Solving the Mystery with Matthaeus. I will start out with a poem, and then I'm going to talk about some interesting things that we've read in the book of Micheal Tellenger's book, Slave Species of the Gods. An interesting history of the beginning of the psychopathy and the dementedness of the quote-unquote things who claimed to be gods, but were anything but. Okay. It's called Love Returns Home. We have returned to defend what's been stolen, and together we'll take our world back. The psychopathic resistance shall keep this in mind before they decide to attack. When psychopaths die, they do not return. They are tossed in a pit where all wickedness burns. When we die, we return. When we die, love returns us to do the great work, until the love light of truth shines upon the whole earth, because our will aligns with the true Most High, and our spirit returns, even if our flesh dies. And I do believe this is the case. I believe that as well, the trauma-based mind control and fear and stuff is put out there because I think humans have come back and they want to save their world, and they're not, when they come back they're confused and they don't remember why they came back. But I do believe that when loving people who are trying to do the great work pass on, they do come back in another form of another person, but I guess they don't remember their past because it was probably unpleasant. Just like the world is now. It's unpleasant. But if you do remember your past, that's in the past. And you come back to do the great work, and that's what we're doing. We'll keep coming back until the love light of truth shines upon the whole earth. We're here to tell the truth, take back the world from the corrupt people into psychopaths, to corrupt psychopaths that are destroying it, killing people, being crazy, and we're not going to stand for it. Okay. Here we go. This was an early example of a psychopath, Anunnaki, demented gods. A lot of people think this is the true God, but it's not. You've been lied to. You've been fooled. A lot of people have been fooled for a long time. I'm doing this. I'm talking about this because it makes a whole lot of sense. And I think that the story of this, when enough people figure it out and let go of their fear and keep an open mind, they might be able to unite in the truth, even when the truth isn't what you thought it would be, and that could be scary. But we here in the Puppetry Poetry for Truth, we would rather know the truth than remain ignorant, because ignorance doesn't get us anywhere. God loves the world. He sends His children back to continue the great work. Psychopaths don't come back, but there are still psychopaths here, and they're being influenced by psychopathic things and evil wickedness. That's bound right now, but it's going to be unbound again, and then we're all going to defeat it. And right now, whether that's actually like a physical thing or allegorical, we don't know. But whatever it is, we are really great at allegorical things, so that's our strong point. And it's our goal is to just enlighten people and introduce them to new things that they didn't see before, meaning from the mind point of view. Everybody has creativity. Everybody can be creative. A lot of people don't realize that they have gifts like this, and they don't even realize that they're in a world that is claims to be safe but isn't. We have a lot of dishonest faces on the TV, that people are blind, and that blind in meaning being blind in mind. They see these people on TV, they think they're their friends, they think they're our friends, and they're not. They have paradigms to protect. They're paradigm protectors, and they're psychopaths. And they're influenced by these psychopaths. Now I'm going to read about this in The Slave Species of the Gods, Micheal Tellenger, in the Slave and Spies chapter. The sacrifice of Isaac by Abraham. Now it came about after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, Here I am. He said, Take now your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, and saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, Isaac his son, and he split wood for the burnt offering, and arose to the place of which God had told him. On the 3rd day Abraham raised his eyes and saw the place from a distance. Abraham said to his young men, Stay here with the donkey, and I and the lad will go over there, and we will worship and return to you. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his son, and he took his hand, the fire, and the knife. So 2 of them walked on together. Isaac spoke to Abraham. His father said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. Behold the fire and the wood. But where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham said, God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. So the 2 of them walked together. Then they came to the place which God had told him, and Abraham built the altar there, and arranged the wood, and bound his son Isaac, and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Abraham stretched out his hand, and took the knife to slay his son, but the angel of the Lord called him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. He said, Do not stretch out your hand against the lad. Do nothing to him, for now I know that you fear God, and since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. Abraham raised his eyes, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him the burnt offering in place of his son. Abraham called the name of that place, The Lord will provide. As it is said to this day, In the mount of the Lord it will be provided. Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a 2nd time from heaven and said, By myself I have sworn, declares the Lord, because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son. Indeed I greatly bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens, and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of the enemies. In your seed the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Here, and this is, listen, this is something claiming that it's God. A loving God would not do this. And there's no fear in love. That's not a loving God. That's a manipulative God that wants to recruit someone for malicious things, just like the Pentagon. And I'm telling you this because it's true. And these things are influencing leaders today. And we need to stop this. We know the true Most High, and that's not Him. These things impersonated Him, and they should be punished for that. And I'm sure they will be. If they're not, I don't know what happens to their whatever when they go wherever, because I don't know what they are or what happens to them when they die. but I can tell you that I believe that they're somewhere being bound until humanity has a fair chance at coming together and uniting, proving that humanity can rise above wickedness. And it says in this book, this is surely the most malicious manipulation of early man by the gods to establish its loyalty. It also provides a model for the gods with which they could exercise future control over the human subjects, while promising the loyal and obedient humans rich rewards. You have to see through all the grandstanding, posturing, and impressive narrative in the Old Testament to recognize the absolute fear under which the people lived at all times. The gods were bloodthirsty and ruthless manipulators, but they had a very good reason to behave this way, because man had grown visibly unhappy with their abuse, and man was beginning to form groups of resistance, which were led by rebellious gods like Marduk, son of Enki. Marduk is a freaking piece of crap, and as an influence, whatever the hell it is, we recognize, like Yeshua said, told us, you will be recognized by your fruits. We see what's going on, we know what's going on. Crazy things, disgraceful things are happening. There are people coming over the border from gangs and hurting people, and yet, yesterday they were talking about how somebody here, a citizen, was tormented. A Boy Scout leader and his troop were harassed by a border patrol, and the Boy Scouts were with the border patrol, and they said that the border patrol pulled a gun on them and said that they shouldn't have knives and fire equipment, which is what Boy Scouts have, because that's what Boy Scouts do as survival camping. I don't know what they were looking for. These people were not doing anything illegal. I don't know why they were searched and harassed. But when you got citizens being treated this way, and then you got terrorists coming over the border that supposedly were supposed to be protected against, that's a problem. I'm trying to keep telling people this. It's a problem. And it's going to get really bad if this thing where the president wants to sign amnesty for like 800,000 immigrants, which means there's going to be even more coming, because there's going to be a whole tsunami of people who will react when they find that out. And diseases, fighting, crimes, and yeah, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why innocent Americans are being harassed, but we do know why, because the Americans are in charge, and that's ridiculous. Homeland Security is anything but. Now, so you see how these creatures manipulated humans and took advantage of their ignorance at the time, or nescience, because they didn't know. Now when nescience means you don't know, there's no way of finding out. Ignorance means you choose to ignore the reality of what's going on. And ignorance is fatal, and it needs to stop. People need to get over their fear and help us to stop the madness that's going on, because I thought this country was all about we the people, but I don't see any people coming and helping with this. Now, I found something interesting that I was interested. It's very interesting because the Emerald, there's the Americans and the Israelites. It looks kind of like a Emerald and Enki fighting situation, which is the Americans is Enki, and Enki was the one that's represented by a bird, and then you got the Israelites with the fish that's from the astrological symbol with the Yeshua, which is not really like, because it's supposed to just mean peace, and people put fishes around thinking that that's in honor of somebody that risked their life to teach what we're trying to teach, and those people aren't even listening to what we're trying to say. A lot of people just slap down in their car and they think, hey, I'm part of that too. No, help us. Do something. Speak out. Don't, when you see something's wrong, do something about it. See, the Israelites are really acting like a monster. And there was the one that wanted to just destroy all of humanity. And Marduk was his enemy, but I think Marduk, under his influence with the Israelites, making Israel representative of the harlot drunken with the blood of the saints. Because Marduk wants to control the whole world, and it seems like Israel is just murdering people for the hell of it and claiming that it's their fault while they're bombing their places of living. It's insane. Israel in Marduk, another name for it is Ra. The Americans is the beast, and under the money god, animalistic behavior for a paycheck. So you got the harlot riding the beast right there. Israel, Ra lies, Ra's lie. America is the latest evil harlot that needs to be destroyed. That's what I think. A lot of people have thought that for a long time, including my older master, which she just recently figured out that no. Because if you look at this, the Americans, the leaders, government, fighting, Pentagon, all the defense spending, they think they're the father. And you got the Israelites who expect people to all worship them as their religion, the feminine, the harlot with the chalice. And you put that together, and that's what they have, that star. With the Americans and the Israelites who put the government and religion together, which is the whole thing, which strings all into the part about how government and religion are control systems that Mark talks about a lot about. And if you still don't know about that, you need to look at his natural law presentation, because it is truth, and it is not his opinion, it's not our opinion, this is the truth. And I'm just trying to show you places that I see parallels. That's our goal, is to just be teachers of this. And the Bundy Ranch is a small example of American citizens rising together. And apparently the establishment doesn't care about that. They didn't care about the American people and the fighting for true things for freedom, and not instead of murder and bloodshed. They weren't interested when nobody got hurt. That's what I saw about the whole incident, and I think that's sad. Now I got to go before I run out of time, and so we can download it on Facebook. So thank you for listening.